If you're like me, you've seen your favorite worlds just hijacked, right? Like a book series that you love got butchered by the movie, or the movie that you love got completely undone by its own sequel, you know, like Joker. The franchise that you've always felt a sense of belonging towards, it got completely sold out and retconned and turned into something else. You've watched what were essentially mythologies being rewritten by people who didn't earn the right to, people who weren't part of it, they weren't there, they never grew up in it like you did. And yet, as much as they just don't get it, somehow they get to make the decisions on where it goes next, right? I mean, you're sick of it, you're tired of it, and you're not just tired of it, you're done, right? If you're like me, you're actually ready to abandon things that you once held so dear, and you never thought you'd be like that, but here we are. And maybe you already have walked away from something, and if we're honest, it hurts, right? And that's why exuno, this brand new thing that we're creating, it doesn't just ask you to just trust a story written by someone else. It hands you the tools to shape it yourself, you. Because in a true mythos, story doesn't start with a script. Now this is core, okay, so follow me on this. When people in any culture retell their myths, they start with memory. With the memory of those telling the story, or retelling it having been told to them, or straight from the people who lived through it. Either way, it comes from memory, and memory can be corrupted, disputed, dangerous, and wrong. Story comes from perspective, and perspectives clash, and we really want that. See, right, exacting narratives with definitively defined details of every single thing, it leads to all sorts of problems. It can be really good to have a great narrative where you really know where you're up to in it, but it can have real problems, like the MCU collapsing under the weight of its own narrative as you need to watch like 130,000 hours of movie to understand the next one. Or it can lead to overly aggressive gatekeeping by the special few, and you know who you are, I'm probably one of them, who really have read every book and comic book and anniversary beer mat or whatever. They know all the details, and yet they still end up arguing in the comments, right? Or arguments over Disney, retconning details in one of the series and then changing Wikipedia to suit it, retconning it. If you know, you know, you know? Look, what all this pain and division comes from is our treating massive narratives with an undue, dare I say, unnatural demand for simple clarity and unanimity of every single detail. And there's an attraction to that. I know there needs to be some kind of agreement there, but life isn't like that. It has sides, it has perspectives, it has people who remember things differently. Between your version of what happened and theirs, there's a fracture. So let's make use of that. I'm inviting you, yes, you watching this, whoever you are, to be a storyteller in the exuno universe, but in a different way than anything that's ever been attempted by any franchise or IP that's ever existed, because this isn't a franchise. It is not an IP. It's a mythos. So we're doing things differently. Every story you shape in exuno has to live inside the fracture, in the gap between perspectives, between differing memories of the same events. Look, we've got a 130-year story arc of humanity's tragedies and victories and social transformations that happen on an epic scale, impacting the whole of humanity. That's the exuno grand story. We call it the Magna Veritas. And the Magna Veritas of exuno, it isn't a simple cinematic timeline. It is what you might call a contested history, a mythic archive rewritten by survivors, stolen by elites, and leaked through fragments like a thing called the Legacy Files, which is a short film that we'll be releasing soon. Actually, it's a series of short films, and you'll be able to make one. Or documentaries like The Human Remnant, which, again, is a series of short films that we'll be releasing soon, and you can make your own. So your story that we're inviting you to write, it doesn't ask what's cool, or what would be a great scene, or where could we shoehorn in a car chase somewhere and some VFX. all the sort of superficial questions that a bunch of suits in a boardroom ask. Oh, this will make people go and see it. No. Think deeper. It goes better than that. Exuno asks, what does your character remember? What piece of the truth are they trying to preserve, or erase, or hide, or spin? So we present a group of characters called the ACX, the All Clear Exchange, which isn't just a hacker group like Anonymous. They're digital myth keepers. They're smuggling truth from a shameful past into a brave but turbulent future. And the Human Remnant, there's this series of documentaries, and the group of people it refers to, this isn't just humanity's leftovers. They are the unreliable narrators of stories from an age that no longer exists. See, in Exuno, you don't just write canon, you write testimony. And testimony always comes with blood on it. Well, that sounds really cool, actually. I'm going to use that. Okay, this isn't world building. Think bigger, think better. It's resistance. Because if you don't shape the myth, someone else will. Then it doesn't belong to you as much, and they'll sterilize it, and they'll monetize it, and they'll flatten it into a product. And then your children will grow up thinking Star Wars was always like that because they've got lawyers and they can shut people out. Well, not here. They don't get to shut you out, but only if you take part. So, if you're ready to do more than just watch all your favorite sci-fi and fantasy stuff, if you've got a story that doesn't fit inside the frameworks, or you just got a story that you think, I would like to work and collaborate with others to make something, bring it. If it's dangerous, if it's uncomfortable, if it's challenging, all the better. Come on, write, make, film, shoot, and be remembered. Because you're not just writing content, you're testifying to a universe where stories matter again. This is Exuno. Shape the myth, or let it be rewritten. Suits will never own this. They may try, but they'll never own this. You will, as long as you get involved. So check out the website and see what this is all about, because yeah, I know this is a lot of information, it's a lot of new concepts, and your head might be spinning here, but go check out the website, okay, and see what this is all about. And hopefully come back and let's talk a bit more about this, and I'll see you next time. This is John, signing off.